We are going. Yes, we're live on Twitch with this session, and I am sharing my screen with the Google Meet, and we have a few people with us. I hope you are. Well, we just did some small talk, but I see we have Carmen with us. Hello, Carmen. How you doing? I'm fine. How are you? Fantastic, fantastic. So that's good. So I saw that you entered the Slack channel for this program. So there are some videos posted. There will be an email coming out later to today with links to those to all the videos that all the recordings for the sessions that we've already run. So guys, meet Carmen. Carmen, meet the guys. Um, were you getting starstruck there, Kima, or what? All right, cool. So we are truly spread across the world. Carmen, if I'm not mistaken, you're over in North America in the United States, right? Okay, okay, cool. Welcome, welcome. Nice. So I was thinking that we will be doing a little bit of coding or code along today with everyone. And again, guys, this is the first iteration of this training program. We had a good session yesterday. Did you carry on for a long time after I left, Anya? Cool, cool, cool. Um, right. So I was thinking that one of the things that we can hammer out today uh, is the more kind of curriculum for the whole thing moving forward. Um, um, I, I I deliberately kind of hold off on this for a while uh, because I wanted to cover the very basics of the things that I think are important, and there are some other stuff that I think we need to cover. Um, so I kind of did an outline. If you look at my screen, I did an outline for the first 4 weeks, and then we have another 5 weeks actually after that. But I wanted to hear your opinion about what we should include. So because I we can be very flexible in what we are covering and in what order we do things and so on. Um, so if you have any like preferences, if there's a piece of technology that you know could be useful for you personally, or it's some stuff that you have been thinking about, then we can bring this up for discussion and include that in the curriculum. And again, I have some thoughts about things, but I would love to hear your opinion. So that would be one thing that we can do today. And then the second thing we could do is if there are any questions about things we've covered before, if there is anybody that has some outstanding things from the very first, like the Express demo that we did with some testing and so on, we can cover that. If you have any thoughts on going a little deeper into testing, we could play around with these things, even though we will go over these kind of things next week or next Tuesday and Thursday. Um, and um, and that's basically what I was hoping out that we could get out of today is basically have a free discussion uh, and formulate this curriculum. How does that sound, people? Right. Uh, so let me go over what I think is important for the um, for the first part of this program, right? So we already covered web technologies, which was, you know, it was pretty heavy, and I think that that was like the most theory heavy part of this training program. I think it was important for us to cover the basics of the protocols and the addressing issues and different types of requests and so on. There are a few more things we need to address, and that is about architectures, and that is mainly the RESTful architecture talk that I have planned for you guys, and also the model view controller architecture, perhaps a 3-tier architecture as well. But I was thinking that we can wait with that until like week 5 or 6, because there you need to have more practical understanding of certain things before we dive into some theory. And I think that if we do it around week 5, 6, then the pieces of the puzzle will fall into place, and you will time understanding all of this stuff. So
Yeah.
wow, that's let's see, is it? There we go. Let me just free up some internal memory for to be on the safe side. Uh, can you hear me now? Hey, Mikey, you're back. That's good. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to do that. Okay, so I was just in the middle of explaining my thoughts about the first part of the um, of the course, and then if we would go to week 5, 6, uh, 7, 8, and 9, right? Let's see, 8 and 9. Whoops. Uh, do we have any thoughts? What would we like to bring up? Um, so let's say that week 5 would be rest plus 3-tier plus model view controller. A lot of theory on this one. And my idea is that if we start building some APIs in week 4, then we can continue building them, but also look at things from a theoretical perspective in week 5, basically, right? And on week 2, like next week, I want to go over some programming fundamentals, which would basically be like I would like to take a different approach than many other programming classes do, that just focus on teaching you one specific language. I was thinking that we could do something very ambitious, and that is to cover things like, you know, variables, iterators, some procedures and functions and so on, in and look at them from the perspective of JavaScript, from Ruby, and also from Python. And the reason for me to do that, you know, taking or addressing that from the perspective of 3 different programming languages, is because I think it's valuable for you guys to see how many similarities there are between these kind of languages, interpreted languages, rather than just differences, right? And the idea would be that, yeah, languages are one thing, but concepts are actually more important. How does that sound? Right. Yeah. And for me, it will be a bit challenging because I haven't touched Python in ages. But I do a lot of Ruby and I do a lot of JavaScript. And so I'm thinking that when we look at these kind of fundamentals, we also automatically, at the same time, basically write tests to see if we can learn testing in JavaScript, Ruby, and also in Python. And that will be a challenge for me as well because me and Python are not that. I'm not that fluent in testing that language, but I think we can all learn something from this one. Uh, yeah, so that I think that can be a fun experience. Uh, Week 3 would be introducing would be it is starting to take a look at React.js. And now you might ask, why wouldn't we do like Vue or something? And that's because I simply don't know Vue good enough to talk about it. But what we could do is to take a look at React.js on Tuesday and Thursday sessions, and then we can try to do some stuff in Vue over the weekend. I was thinking we can build a very small application in React.js where we fetch a little bit of data from an API. We use application state and we do some testing, end-to-end testing, and then on the weekend we try to collaboratively do this using Vue. Basically, build the same type of application, but using Vue 3. Um, and I know that Anya, you've been doing Vue, so you could take a lead on that. And you go like, yeah, perhaps. uh, yeah, we can learn together on this one. Uh, and then on week 4, I'm thinking let's build a little bit of just an API, uh, create some data, and serve it to a client or a potential client uh, using JSON or something like that. So we can cover a little bit about JavaScript object notation as a standard. Um, introduce we will be introducing REST from a practical perspective without covering so much of the theory, but build a few endpoints and routes and so on, and do that in Node.js. Perhaps even at the same time we can do Ruby on Rails, just to showcase the conceptual things. Like again, build the same thing in Node and in Rails. Just to have it done in two different frameworks and languages. Uh, and then week 5 kind of continue on that, but look at it from a more theoretical perspective, so we kind of understand that and so on. And here on week 6, I would like you guys to do a quiz, right? Like a midterm exam, just so you know, we can see if we can assess if you guys been following along or not. Yeah, just to because I like to torture people. Yeah, that's why that's the reason. Uh, but if you guys are okay with that, we can do a quiz. If I mean it's totally voluntary, of course. You don't feel the pressure here. But I will prepare once again. Instead of a quiz, it's better to do a challenge instead of a quiz. Right. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I need to take this down. That's a fantastic idea. Um, CTF event. Okay, I need to research that. Perhaps I create something for you on that. So, okay, at Craft Academy, just going to tell you, at Craft Academy we have a mid course and a final exam. So the mid course exam is of course week 6 because it's a 12-week thing, and they do 3 hours of live coding, and for the final exam they do 5 hours of live coding, um, and they get one back end and one front end challenge. So I have a battery of these kind of challenges. So be careful what you ask for, Petro, because I can challenge you on this stuff. And we also give them um, legacy code filled with bugs, which is kind of what you were talking about, Pedro, right? Because they need to catch the bugs, and the test suite is failing for various reasons, and the deployment is not possible because there are some faulty configuration and so on, and they need to go green on everything. So it's a challenging thing. There are always tests when I'm involved, my friend. But yes, of course. Talking about that, at some point we need to talk about working on um, legacy code, because that's actually a very important skill. The way I look at it for a developer, when you go out to work for a company, you will rarely be involved in creating something new from scratch. You will be thrown into a project that has already been up for an amount of months, and you need to be onboarded one way or another, and working working your way through somebody else's code is extremely annoying and an art in itself, but it's a valuable skill in my opinion. So um, one way or another, I will try to introduce that in this training program as well. So throw some code at you guys and see if you can explain some features or start working on it, or something like that. Does that sound like an interesting challenge? Cool. Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, let's think about now. I know that a lot of people are interested in stuff like GraphQL. Um, does that sound interesting to you guys? Okay. So right, that's an extremely good question, and actually, for me at least, it's a bit hard to answer properly. Uh, but um, does anyone know? Like, Mike, do you have a good definition, or Pedro, do you have a good definition of GraphQL? Kan ni ursäkta mig? Ursäkta mig? Kan vi ta det lite lugnt bara? Tack så mycket. Men du behöver inte skälla på mig, Jessica. Yeah. Yeah, that's no, no, but I think that's exactly the right on. It's like you are much more in control with GraphQL in terms of what you get. You only get the data that you will actually use. With more traditional RESTful or whatever APIs, you can get shitload of data, although perhaps you just need one single attribute of that, right? And but you can get a massive response. And so here with GraphQL, you can be in more control, basically. Um, and you can build much more uh, complex queries. So because like uh, so with more traditional APIs, you can sometimes get too much, or you don't get enough, right? So you have to make another network call and sometimes another, right? And we know that network calls are the bottlenecks of every web-based application, because it doesn't really matter if your server is extremely fast, and even if your client is fast and the code is optimized to not be that tough on your client. But for every network call you are making, that then we're talking about milliseconds or seconds sometimes, right? Whereas and that so you want to avoid making too many calls. So with GraphQL you can make one call and make it as big as you want and just get the data that you're truly gonna need, and that's very very good. Um, so that's the positive thing. The negative side of this thing is that for old guys like me, it could be very intimidating in terms uh, of building those queries. And then let me put it this way: the more freedom you're given, the harder it is to make decisions, right? I think that when you have an endpoint with predictability, you know that if I hit this endpoint with certain parameters, I will get this response, and that's what I have to work with. And here, all of a sudden, you have all this freedom, and sometimes you don't know what to do with it, basically. Mm. Right, right. Yeah. I'm thinking that we should definitely cover GraphQL from at least some practical perspective and a little bit of theory, but I am not very proficient in GraphQL myself. I've built a few bridges between RESTful APIs and or being able to use GraphQL on a RESTful or on a set of RESTful endpoints. So I think we can definitely include that in the curriculum to have at least some sort of an overview. Uh, yeah, let's do that. Um, um, yeah. Um, okay. What else? How about WebSockets and push notifications and stuff? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, so I would definitely put this down here. So even before GraphQL, right? Yeah. Um, that's a tough one. Trust me. I've been fighting an uphill battle with testing WebSockets. It depends. It depends on what exactly you want to test, of course. But like live testing WebSocket like a chat functionality or whatever, right? Is extremely hard to set up. Well, it's like there's a tons of configuration in the test environment that needs to be done because there is always this theory that or this rule that you shouldn't do things live in your end-to-end testing. You should always mock or stub out the server responses, right? So that idea is of course applied to testing chat or what have you, and doing that with WebSockets would be hard, but it's an interesting challenge. So I'm up for it. Um, so we can definitely do that in this program. Uh, Mobile or hybrid application development. I'm not going to cover Objective C or Kotlin or anything like that, mostly because I don't know that so much. But I can do React Native uh, and things like that. Would that be interesting? Right. So let's cover this here. Uh, oi. Um, Once again, could you repeat the question? So, hmm yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and that's a funny thing. Now, if we can spend a few minutes talking about this because on the back end, things are not moving nearly as fast as they do on the front end. You have your databases and you have your basic architectures like MVC, for instance, or three-tier architecture, and you have your you know SQL databases or Mongo document-based databases or what have you, uh, and there is a lot of new stuff coming along, but not nearly as much as on the front end. On the front end, there's like a new JavaScript based framework born every other month, probably, and there's so much changes going on at so it's hard to keep up with everything. Uh, but yeah, basically, you have a database and you serve content one way or another, whether it's XML, SOAP, or JSON or what have you, and your applications, whether they run on desktop, mobile clients, or on the web, they just consume that data one way or another, right? So that's pretty simple. I know that Mirsad is not here today, I think, but he is actually um he he knows Electron much better than me. Electron is a framework um, developed by the good people of GitHub, I think, that um, that helps us build desktop applications using web technologies. So you can use vanilla JavaScript, or you can use Vue, or you can use React, or what have you, to build applications that will be installed locally um, on your computer. Discord is built with Electron. So is Slack. I think Slack is built with Electron too. Um, there's a lot of them. I've built like one application or one and a half applications with Electron, and there's a lot of hurdles along the way. For instance, code signing and creating executables for Linux, Windows, and Apple computers and so on. So that's a tough one. But I know that Mirsad has done it, so we're gonna definitely put this down somewhere here. We can shuffle this around later, but Electron, that's gonna be on him. I'm gonna force him to do a guest lecture. He will absolutely love it, I guess. It's easy when somebody's not around to assign tasks to them. I think it's a very good thing. Um, and I also know now that we talk about Mirsad, he also knows Firebase a lot. And Mike, don't haven't you done stuff with Firebase? No? Okay. Uh, no, but Firebase is interesting um, because it's like a totally cloud-based solution kind of thing for databases, and I use authentication and all of that stuff. So it could be very useful when you develop apps without having to host your own servers and so on. So could be interesting. Um, but let's talk projects. Let's see if we can we build something, or we should build. We need to build something together. Mm? Mm? Cool. Awesome. Yes, let's do that. What was the what's the domain? What do you have some do you wanna bring an idea to the table, or just time at this point? There are never there is no such thing. Mm? 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 No, no, no. It's okay. He's excited. Passion is contagious, so that's good. You know. Send, yeah. Send my. Okay. All right. But he's that's awesome. Send my regards, of course. Um, Yes, I think that we should now. The interesting thing with the project, and since we're all in this community of Agile Ventures, even if we start something during this program, it doesn't have to end in September. We can definitely keep on working on that and make a community project out of that. Uh, one way or another. And Anya, of course, if you can devote some parts of your streaming time to a project like this, I know that there are members that can join you during those hours. But even if not, since we will be trying to work in an agile way, we can break this down into smaller chunks and smaller features, have a issue tracker, and people can just cherry pick the stuff that they can work on, submit a pull request, and and things can be integrated into the whole thing, right? So uh, yeah. Right. Cool. One thing that we need to talk about then, of course, is it's going to be probably fairly easy early on. That would be agile methodologies, right, for project management. So uh, I'm going to introduce it already next week and make sure that we talk about it uh, the week after, because there are a few things like there's some theory behind agile, that's one thing, but then there are some practical things like planning, how to prioritize things, and how to approach collaborative design and work using agile sprints. You know, we can talk Kanban and we can talk Scrum and so on, uh, um, or Scrumban. There's another thing, but anyway. Uh, so these are a bit theoretical uh, talks, but I have a lot of material on agile. Um, but then we need to practice this. That's like there's so many people just talking about agile and then not doing it, and I am not one of those evangelists. I try to even though I'm a talker, talk less and act more. And I truly believe that agile is the way to go if you want to do something non-trivial in a um, in a collaborative setting with a group of people, especially when you are distributed like we are, scattered all over the place. Then agile will work wonders for us. This means that we could try to start talking about agility, and then like during next week we would settle for one or two projects that we can do as a team, you know, during this course, and see if we can finish that. And the topics could be like definitely finance based, or if we can do something with NFTs, and I mean blockchain, and um, and developing for using blockchain technologies is fairly different than traditional development for the web, but there are some similarities. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I also have this small little project that I've been working on with these smart contracts that regulate the relationship between a buyer and a supplier uh, for services. That could be potentially interesting to take a look at. And we have this, but from the testing perspective, it's a fucking mess. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Is this so? And they have a cool website. Mm-hmm. 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 That's yeah, but that's a that's you sold it. No, I'm sold. I'm sold. Um, I'm sold because of the cool website. But apart from that, you made a great case there. But apart from that, this is a very appealing thing, right? Because the way I looked at it from a business perspective when I was looking into building some business applications on the main net or something. I was always worried, and I ran some simulation about the gas prices and the fees that you have to pay to deploy contracts and do every transaction. And to be honest, that felt a little steep to from time to time. And if these guys can address that from a financial perspective, but also the lower carbon footprint perspective. That's mm, mm. I thought you were on vacation, Anya. What? Hmm. 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 Wow. Hmm. 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 Oh, all right. We can actually make a living out of this at some point. That would be. Hmm. 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 Yeah. The era of gold is over. It's all about cryptocurrencies now. So. Absolutely. No, but that this sounds really interesting, and this is the this is what happens when a lot of enthusiasts and passionate people get together. We can brainstorm some fantastic ideas. I am uh, I am definitely up for looking into all of this stuff, and the Cosmos ecosystem looks really promising and interesting. So let's do that. Uh, you know, just promise me, everyone, that everyone will code. Nobody should be left behind, because software development is like learning to swim. You can't attend classes on swimming, watching YouTube clips of swimming, people who swim, or read books about swimming. You have to jump into the pool and swim if you wanna become a good swimmer. And that's the same thing. It's the same thing with uh, um, building whatever, using code. You have to code basically. So let's take on a big project. I am totally for it, but we need to develop it iteratively and incrementally. We start small, and then we just let it explode and become as big as we want it to be. And for that, my friends, agile methodologies will be a great fit. So that we don't bite off too much in the beginning, but let it grow exponentially as we move forward. Awesome. So okay, so blockchain it is. Is everybody blockchain sold at this point? Carmen, what do you say? Are you sold on blockchain? Good stuff. Awesome, awesome. People, I know that there have been a few initiatives on Agile Ventures related to blockchain, and but let's see. It's been a while. Let's see. There is a blockchain channel on Slack, so just search for it and see if you can join. But it's been dormant for a few. Right, I joined it. No, it hasn't been in use in 2018. So yeah, so there's not much, but we can definitely try to, if we reactivate it, because so there's one thing now in the Work the Web channel. It's us who are involved in this. In this training, right? And we should of course keep a lot of our chatter and everything in this channel, because these are the people that are committed to learning together. But never forget that there are so many other members, both old members and new ones. So make sure to if you have any interesting things, like for instance the Cosmos Network info or some blog posts or what have you, learning resources, post them in this blockchain channel, so we can attract more people, and also push out a little bit of info in the general channel, that there are things happening in the blockchain, or so we can attract more folks, basically. Cool. I'm very happy about this. Um, and when we build user interfaces for distributed, or when we build apps or distributed applications, we can definitely make use of WebSockets, for instance. We can definitely look into making use of GraphQL and so on for some side functionality, and that runs as some support features for whatever we are building. Yeah, it's going to be fun, fantastic. Absolutely. What I would like us to focus on when we will definitely have some separate project planning meetings later, but let's see. We have one date that could be kind of relevant for us, and that would be, what date is it? Right, Saturday, September 4th. If we could have some sort of a either just a proof of concept or a minimum viable product done, so we can showcase things for the like the outside world somehow, or perhaps if we can have some code and working software, that's the best scenario. But even if we have a project plan, this is what we're going to build with good mock-ups and good, documentation in terms of the core features we will be developing and so on. That would also work, in my opinion. So we can tell the world that, hey, we've been through a training program. That we kind of defined together, and here is the result of this and the future of a project that we committed to working on together. So that would be a deadline. So mark September 4th in your calendars and in your minds that this is where the world is supposed to hear about our great adventure moving forward. Does that sound okay? Mhm. How do you spell that? No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I have autocorrect. Yeah, that wasn't it. Mm, 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 mm. So I have a person in mind that we could invite to a session with either as part of this course or like an extra talk. I know a woman that is visually impaired that is also a programmer, and I think she is very well suited to give a talk about not only the accessibility from a user experience, but also from a software engineer's experience, how it is to work in this industry with a disability. I can see if I can get her on board. I can't make any promises, of course, but um, this is a very important topic, Pedro. So thanks for bringing it up. We'll try to fit this in one way or another. Good point. Mm, mm. Cool. Anybody else? Any more ideas? Performance, fine tuning. Right. Uh, so that's a tough one always. Uh, but basically DevOps, right? I guess we need to address DevOps all in all, one way or another. Um, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Go. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, no, we're gonna address it now. This is of course a huge topic, and um, with a lot of things. But there are some basic stuff, like for instance the queries, such as you mentioned, Mike, and you should get as much data as possible, and with one single database call, for instance, right, and so on. But I think before we move into performance tuning, and so there are some basic best practices that we need to cover somewhere fairly, you know, early on, which is like some. So how many of you guys do know SQL, structured query language? Um, right. SQL. Um, Yeah, Carmen, so you've done Rails work before, right? So, for instance, right now, so in Rails we try not to use SQL at all, but we rather use an ORM, object relational mapper, that is called Active Record in Rails, so that we can programmatically access th- our database resources, writing Ruby code basically, because SQL is a handful, to say the least. But we should definitely cover SQL a bit at least, and see if we can start using that one way or yeah. Uh, because if you know how databases operate and what is the best way to access data, then you have a lot of performance issues fixed from start. So well, you basically don't end up writing bad queries and bad code moving forward. But I think performance is important, so we will definitely cover it one way or another. Uh, Shit, we need to prolong this course, I think. Yeah. Yeah, but we are in the brainstorming phase at the moment, so we're gonna cut things away. But even here, guys, the just because the course ends or this program ends, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean that we have to stop covering interesting topics, because we can just move on afterwards and set up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 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 definitely. Uh, Yeah, yeah. Mm, it is. Mm, 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 mm. And I don't want to be too fascist about things, but in Agile we call the client product owner, product owner. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. Then he is definitely no, but so the product owner in Agile is basically the expert of the subject, right? Which is very often a representative of the client organization, but it's a one source of truth for the developer team to deal with. And the product owner is also responsible for helping the dev team to define features, but also prioritize them. He has the final word on saying, yeah, it doesn't matter that you guys think that this is exciting and cool and fun to work on. We need to prioritize this boring feature before that, right? Because that's amazing. That's amazing. That's what I need in my life. I need some more Germans in my life because then I will get more structured, I think. Yeah. Well, I do. No, but that sounds like a great idea, and also having Crusader over, having somebody from outside of the group would automatically give him more authority. Uh, and this is a role-playing game, of course, right? It's a different thing when there's money at stake and real jobs and so on. But if we just agree upon the fact that, yeah, well, if Crusader comes in, he's the boss or he's the client. He doesn't always have to be right. We can bring things up for discussion, but as true consultants, we have to uh, give him good advice and so on. But at the end of the day, his word is what counts. And if we play theater and play a role playing game in this one, we can pick up some really valuable experiences and skills, I think. So check with him if he's interested on. Cool. Make sure you tell him that we have 20 members in this channel, so he will have 20 people to his disposal. You know, ah, he can get too caught up in the role playing. No, but that's we'll deal with that problem when we can always bring him down to earth. Uh, right. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, and okay, so the wish list is pretty extensive. Um, Again, there's a lot of technology. Remember that working as a software developer is also about soft skills. So I will bring up and try to always kind of put an agile twist on everything we do, so we don't forget about the planning and the business values that we bring to the table and so on. Uh, and I will sit down um, with Anya and Mike and try to bring some order into this because now we are a little bit scattered. So I will probably rearrange some stuff and have a more of a real uh, plan moving forward. We'll send this out in the channel for you guys to take a look on. And I know that we are missing a few people that are regulars here in this project. So we need um, we need some input from them, those guys who are not here today as well. But yeah, it sounds like a very ambitious plan, people. there's a lot of things on this to-do wish list, but I think we can cover at least most of them. Uh, oh, Mike is leaving. Good night, Mikey. Talk to you later. I forgot to say him that him and I have a meeting tomorrow. Anyway, yeah. Um, there is another piece of technology that I would love us to look at, and that is something that is kind of, first of all, payment. I know we're talking about a lot about blockchain and so on, but we need to, for more traditional web applications, we need to look at, integrating credit card payments or PayPal and all of this nonsense, because there are so many apps that where money comes into play. So, for instance, Stripe. Not sure if any of you have worked with Stripe before. It's a very programmer-friendly credit card. Right. Um, and of all the ones that I've worked with, Stripe is actually really, you know, programmer friendly, I would say. It's easy to get started with. Uh, so that could be a good first step for us, to to look at. So I'm gonna put down Stripe, you know, somewhere here. Uh, let's just put it down here, Stripe. Um, and there was another thing. I was thinking about something else. I forgot. Yeah, no, right. Um, Elastic Search. Elasticsearch, right. Have any of you heard about Elasticsearch before? Okay. Um, so I was thinking that we could at least in one workshop or a demo take a look at Elasticsearch from Node.js or Ruby on Rails perspective, because it allows us to add very fairly easy, add search functionality through to our databases, to our applications or APIs, and it solves a lot of problems. And it's a good skill to have, or to have built something with. It looks really good on your CV, if you have Elasticsearch. You know, nothing beats blockchain, but you want to have as extensive CVs as possible. So I will actually add a little bit of Elasticsearch in at least one demo, if that's okay with you guys. Uh, mhm. Eh, Yeah. Um, so I would call it a library, not a, but it's they probably use the word framework. So in my world, in my very limited scope of things, a framework is a piece of software that addresses a lot of issues, whereas a library is a piece of software that focuses on one thing, right? So, for instance, if we talk about Vue, React, and Angular, if we take that as an example, Angular would be a framework, whereas Vue and React are libraries, because Vue and React deals, well, Vue is something in between, I would say, but React is definitely a library because it deals with only one thing, and that is to build user interfaces. If you want to do anything else in React, like networking or state management or what have you, you need to pull in other libraries, right? For networking, Axios; for state management, application state management, you have to pull in Redux or Flux or whatever. So for me, a distinction between libraries and frameworks is that if you deal with one thing, if you're focused on one thing, that is a library. If an Angular, for instance, comes with everything preset, you have networking, you have even some routing and all of that stuff, right? And so that would be more of a library. Does that make sense? But so I would, for me, this is more of a library, but I don't know because it's fairly extensive, with a lot of features. So it could be a framework or a search framework or something. I don't know. It's hard to define that. But I'm thinking that it could be nice to have uh, under our tool belt. Okay, cool. Great discussion, folks. Well, our hour and a half is up. Should we go for another half an hour? Does Let me ask you this: is there anything at this point you would like to add to the wish list in terms of technologies or topics we want to cover? W- mm, We will probably have to cut away a few things. You know. Uh, mm. Um, so I am on kind of vacation at this point, so I have a few trips planned moving forward. But I can, apart from the Tuesdays and Thursday sessions, which are like demos and stuff, I can definitely jump in with you, Anya, from time to time to do some pair programming or cover some stuff in your stream. I know. So are you planning to go back to this, morning hours? Yeah, which is basically 9 a.m. or what is it in? Yeah, and that's 7 a.m. UTC, right? Because you're 2 hours forward, or yeah, yeah. So 7 a.m. UTC. Uh, yeah, which is mm, mm. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Guys, we have to chip in for a wedding gift for this lady. Uh, yeah, but nothing beats flowers, Anya. Nothing beats flowers. Or a bottle of champagne or something. Uh, yeah, crystal or something. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, Carmen, when you were saying that you minted, you were mining for some bitcoins. I thought you would say that you were a millionaire. You, there, I thought, yeah, you would have been a millionaire now, millionaire now or something. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Cool. mm, 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 mm. So, Carmen, another thing I remember now, when you and I had some discussions, I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about it, but you were involved in some projects down in Latin America, right? In South America. Um, it, no props. Yeah. Shut up. No. Mm-hmm. 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 No, I'm very excited about those things, and Anya, I was telling you about Carmen before, so this is definitely it's a fantastic thing you want to do there, Carmen, and if there's anything we can do to help, we just we can bring them into Agile Ventures one way or another. As you see, doing a community-driven training program is not. Well, it is hard work, but it's not rocket science, right? You basically sit down with the participants as we do today. You come up with some ideas. You have somebody that takes a lead, of course, but then it's up to the participants and the coaches and or the instructors to do the best you can out of the ambitions that we all have. And so, you know, if you want to bring these individuals, you don't want to say girls, so I won't say that either. With, right. No, but so definitely. Now, Anya, you're like fluent Spanish speaker, aren't you? You speak all languages. You speak all languages in the world. Yeah. Because did I understand you correctly, Carmen, that you said that there's a language barrier in terms of English skills? Mm. No, no, but that's fantastic. This is
people who are brave enough to just like put themselves out there and kind of put some resources in Spanish more so. And there are some nice English speakers who actually translate or put like CC captions in their videos, which is also awesome. So,
Mm.
but like I say, my project is very romantic, no, super interesting like you guys have. I was like, I feel like a little tiny here.
What? Why?
I'm asking. I was just saying my project is very romantic. Your projects are very straightforward, and I think I love it. The whole blockchain thing.
We need blockchain content in Spanish.
Yeah, yay!
No, but the Women in Tech for Paraguay project, I think it's awesome.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
oh, people, there is something majorly wrong with me. Um, for 1 hour and 23 minutes, I missed to output the audio from the Google Meet to the Twitch again. So I'm just gonna lay down and I don't know, put a blanket over
Have a
my
good
head and
night.
motherfucker,
So,
Jesus fucking Christ.
oh
Okay.
wow! So it didn't
And
go. It
and
didn't
now
go live.
Oh
and
God.
now
It didn't
that
go live.
now that you're swearing, I hope that you've recorded this.
Yeah, I did. Now I record it. Yes.
And here I was saying that Thomas has done a pretty good job today of not dropping any f bombs,
Hey.
and then he just unleashes a tidal wave of them.
But I'm a
So,
moron. I am a oh God. Oh.
so I just can you just like
Can
answer
you
that
just can
that
you can
means
you
that
can you all can you all repeat everything you said over the last hour and a half, please? No. No.
Oh, wow.
So one thing that so Carmen is that for people who are not in the meet or as we are, they could follow the conversation on Twitch or supposedly. But so what they've been seeing is like me sitting and total silence and the things that you see on screen and I don't. Yeah, that's it. That's what they saw. until I enable the sound. So yeah, that's
So
I
basically, there's today is just gone.
well, apart from the
No, we're
the
here,
memories,
so
apart
No,
from the
it
memories.
yeah,
definitely is not gone.
Oh,
no.
oh gosh, gosh.
No, now we're all super psyched and excited about the project, right?
Yes, and I
We learn
really
with our mistakes, even if you do it once, twice, 3 times.
I'm gonna abdicate from the role as head coach. I'm giving this up. I'm apparently not suited up for this. Okay, I'm really blushing here. I don't know if you can see that on screen, but this is not good.
I can't.
You can't see? No.
I can see you, but I can't see that you're blushing.
True.
Perhaps I'm just pale. I'm just all the blood just disappear. No, so yeah, okay, that's gonna be a fantastic end of my weekend, knowing that I made a fool of myself. Guys, let's on this very negative note, let's end. And it's been a blast. And I had this, Rune Sphinx, a guy. He's been hanging out for at least an hour in the Twitch, and he just heard me, when I was talking, and just silence when you guys were talking. Anyways, I will go over these notes. Let's talk about and think about ideas. Let's go. Let's try to come up with specific things we can do in using the Cosmos ecosystem. Whether it's something in finance or NFT. Anya, if you talk to Crusader, what he can bring to the table
Yeah,
and pitch
I
something
will
for
talk
us.
to him, and I will also use the stream sessions to re-go over a bit of material from last week, and then do a bit of research on Cosmos and what we could be doing
Right, right.
for Tuesday evening, right? Because the next session is Tuesday.
Cool. It is, and I will have my sound in order for that session. I promise. Oh my god.
We need to have someone doing a backup stream or something.
I
Hey,
I think
don't beat yourself up too much.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine, and
Definitely.
it's fine. And I mean, what's important is that we show what we're gonna do,
exactly,
afterwards.
exactly.
So,
No, well, it's. I'm new at this. Apparently. Um,
all good.
all right, folks. Um,
Have a good Sunday evening then,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I really just gonna lay down in bed and try to come to grips with myself. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Really, I'm kidding about this. It is what it is, right? With the sound, I think we had a great discussion, and so for this iteration, we're gonna try to cover as much as possible of these technologies and the things that we discussed. Remember, as we said, just because this training program ends in September, it doesn't mean anything else other than that it ends. We can carry on with the work of Agile Ventures, and I am already planning to start a new iteration of this in, let's say, late October or early November, so we can onboard some other folks into this, and it's all about growing the community, start interesting projects, work together, and code as much as possible, and push out interesting features and learn at the same time, because it's as we spoke about yesterday, the way you validate whether you're learning relevant stuff or irrelevant stuff is by doing projects. And I think that if we can collaborate and build something, and some people are valuing it, then we are right on target, and that's going to be a fantastic feeling. But for today, let's call it quits. I talk to you no later than Tuesday afternoon, but I will probably see you in Anya's stream tomorrow.
Yay.
All right.
Okay.
Have
Bye.
a
Thank
good
you
night,
so much.
Bye,
everyone.
Thomas.
Take it
Nice
easy,
meeting you.
guys.
Bye.
Stay
Right.
cool.
Nice
Bye.
meeting you too.
So long. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
And Twitch, thank you very much for everything. And I talk to you. So long. God damn it.